Hello everyone, welcome to Legacy Ace Academy. In the last couple of days, the northern part of Africa and some countries in the northern part of Africa are in news, especially a country called Libya is in news. Okay, in the image, if you can see, the reason why Libya is in news is because of the extensive floods that are happening in Libya. Okay, so in this video, we will get to understand the geography of Libya and the reason why this particular flood and which is caused by a tropical rainfall. See, tropical rainfall and a tropical cyclone is common in the entire world altogether. Even the western coast of India and also most of the times the eastern coast of India will experience such type of tropical storm or tropical cyclones for that matter. But what is so specific about the tropical cyclones, which are called as medicane, and a very important prelims pointer, the tropical storms which resulted in this particular flood in Libya were called as medicane. I think why this tropical flood or tropical rainfall was so serious for Libya, and it's been like couple of days. Even now, the Libyan city, a coastal city which we'll be talking about, is even today is submerged. Okay, so there are water logging places even today in that particular Libyan city. So in this video, we will be talking about the geography of Libya, okay, from the maps perspective and also from the IR perspective. Okay, first, if you look at the location of Libya, and I've already told you that the Libya is located in the northern part of the African continent. If you can see in this particular map, here you have a country called Libya, correct, which shares its border with the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, which shares its border to the Mediterranean Sea. And if you have also studied geography, you will know, you would have heard about a region called as Sahel region, Sahel, Sahel region. Okay, so and this particular Sahel region also passes through this country called Libya. So two important points: one is Libya in the northern part, and it shares its borders with the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, and if you look at the bordering states of Libya, and a very important and a very much possible prelims question in this perspective, you can start from Tunisia, Algeria, Niger, Chad, Sudan, and Egypt. Okay, 6 countries. 6 countries border Libya along with one coastal border, the coastal line towards the northern part of Libya, that is called as Mediterranean Sea. See, this map is really important to understand the cause of this particular flood. Okay, see, apart from this, one more thing that you will have to know is that the half of Libya, if you look at the half of Libya, is covered or it is divided on a mountain range. So this particular the region, the landmass towards the northern part of the mountain has a slope. Okay, it has a slope. This mountain range towards the southern part also has a slope. So because of this particular shape of the landmass, because of this landmass and the location of the forests in this particular mountain, if at all there's a huge rainfall by the Mediterranean clouds, the clouds propagated by the Mediterranean Sea, which carry moisture, if there are huge floods, if there are huge rain, and this rainwater, this rainfall which falls on this particular mountain flows towards this part of the Libya because of the slope. This is what happened, which caused the rainfall and also the flood. Okay, so these are the things that you will have to know from the mapping perspective with respect to a country which is in news called as Libya. Okay, so what do we know? See, we've looked at the map, and one important city that got affected, that got really affected because of the flood, was called as a coastal city called as Derna. Okay, so this is a coastal city that got affected because of the flood. So what happened? You can see here there are two important dams that were actually constructed along this particular Derna river. See, this is a river. This is a huge river that flows. Clear? You can have one river here. You can have one dam here, and you have one dam here. Okay, so this dam is called as Al Bilad Dam, and this is one more, that is Abu Mansur Dam. So two important dams were constructed along this Derna river, And Derna is also a coastal city with a huge population, correct? So what happened one fine day, couple of days back, okay, couple of days back, around sometime we're talking about 9th September or the 10th September, early morning, 3 a.m. we're talking about, early morning, 3 a.m., correct? This particular Derna city received rainfall up to 400 millimeters. Okay, one entire night. Okay, ninth night by 10th September early morning, this particular city of Derna received a rainfall of 400 millimeter. So this rainfall of 400 millimeter, okay, see, for some parts of the entire world, the 400 millimeter rainfall one throughout the night might look very common, but this city Derna, its average rainfall, the average rainfall that this city receives in the entire month of September is around 4.5 millimeter. So a city which can sustain only 4.5 millimeter of rainfall received 400 millimeter of rainfall. See, one important reason why is this happening, we can attribute this to the climate change and unseasonal concentrated rainfall that's happening throughout the world. See, this is the country, this is the phenomena that is not only specific to Libya. You have the unseasonal concentrated rainfall happening in India also. You will have it in the many other countries also. So that is the reason why we say that the climate change do not have borders. So we might have one country which is emitting more carbon dioxide, and as a result of the global warming and the climate change, the result of this particular emission is felt elsewhere. Okay, that's what happens. That is the reason why global warming or the climate change it doesn't impact everyone equally. Clear? So the storm that was formed in the Mediterranean Sea, okay, the storm that was formed in the Mediterranean Sea, that too a tropical cyclone or a storm. Usually what happens in the northern hemisphere, the cyclone will move towards the in the anti-clockwise direction. So the storm that was formed usually moves like this towards the southeastern part. This will be the direction of the storms that have been created. And I've told you earlier that there was a huge mountain block here. There was a huge mountain block here because of this 400 millimeter concentrated rainfall in one particular night. And this was also, and this rain was the result of the tropical storms that were created on the Mediterranean Sea, correct? And this particular landmass received huge rainfall. It received huge rainfall, and this huge rainfall led to the increasing in the water inflow to these two particular dams. One is the Al Bilad Dam and also Abu Mansur Dam. So the water inflow increased to these two particular dams, and eventually around 3 a.m. in the morning and 4:30 a.m. in the morning consistently. Clear? So these two dams bursted out, and this bursting of the dam resulted in a huge water outflow towards the city of Derna. And this is the reason why we have something called as flash floods happening in Libya. See, and one important thing that we need to know from this particular discussion is a tropical cyclone which originates in the Mediterranean and which was responsible for the flood in Libya. That particular tropical storm or a tropical cyclone is called as Medicane. Okay, this name is really important. Medicane is a tropical storm or a tropical cyclone which was in news because it affected Libya. It started moving towards the southeastern part of Libya, and in this particular map, it will be easy for us to understand the movement of the southeast Medicane. Okay, Medicane, which originated here, started moving towards the southeast part, and this particular landmass received a huge rainfall, and we have the rain Derna to the city of Derna, and this rain and also the unexpected cloud burst along with the overcrowding of the dam. Okay, dam got filled. So huge water inflow for the dam because of the 400 millimeter rainfall that it received, and this resulted in the bursting of two particular dams, and the city of Libya, that is Derna, got flooded. Now the question all around the world Okay, the question that the people are asking, is this dam natural, or is this natural, is this calamity man-made? And could we have done something to protect the dams, and could we have done something to save these particular lives? See, it's at the end of the day, it's 5,000 people who actually lost their lives, and it's a huge thousands of hectares of the fertile land that lost its fertility, and the environmental impact of the after the flood is so huge. And the city of Derna is very much prone to the contagious diseases now. Clear? So because of all these reasons, if you just look at, one fourth of the entire city was washed out, was waterlogged. One fourth of the entire city was waterlogged. 5,000 deaths. 5,000 people died on the spot, and you will not have any clue about these 5,000 people. You can't even recover their bodies. Most of the bodies you cannot recover because it's been washed away by the flood water. Clear? Just imagine when the dam bursts and the water starts flowing, rushing down the landscape. Clear? This is the reason why I told you understanding the landscape of Libya is very important to understand why actually floods happen. So if you imagine the force of the water flow, these 5,000 dead bodies, it's really hard to recover these dead bodies. And people who have witnessed this say that the waves from the flowing river water, was as high as 7 meters. Okay, as high as 7 meters. This was the amount of flood water that came rushing. So because of such destruction, people started thinking that, can this destruction be, okay, could we have done something to protect this particular destruction, and can we learn lessons? Okay, what can India learn from this particular dam burst that happened? See, one thing I told you on and on, that this flood started at 3 a.m. in the morning. Okay, 3 a.m. in the morning. If you just think about, the officials will not be present in the dam area, and you will have a lot of people around who are in deep sleep in this particular area, in this particular time period we're talking about. Yeah. So at this time period, if we would have had very authentic, okay, early warning system, maybe we could have got some hint about the 800 millimeter or 700 millimeter rainfall that the Derna city received the previous night. If we would have got the early warning system, then probably we could have evacuated people from the low-lying areas, and maybe would have been able to save few lives. So this destruction is very destructive. It's very destructive because it's a combination of both natural and also the man-made errors. So with this, we've come to the end of the video. So for more such enriching content, please subscribe to Legacy IAS Academy. Have a nice day.